am very excited for today's video. Today's gonna be a test. We're doing an experiment. I told you guys I wanted to do this. We've always been told that layering eyeshadows is what gives the prettiest look. It's gonna give the most dimension, the most depth. I wanna test that theory. I wanna test out, does layering eyeshadows really give you the most dimension, or does it just get covered up by everything you put on top of it? And I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of getting more simplistic and more natural with my makeup style. Like I'm just kind of getting bored with doing a ton of makeup. Don't get me wrong, applying eyeshadow can be very therapeutic. Makeup is very therapeutic to me, but I'm just kind of getting to a point where, you know, when you have to wake up early to do your makeup, you just don't feel like it. Like you get out of it. It's more flattering when I do a more simplistic look with less eyeshadows than when I do like 15 eyeshadows and, you know, really spend time blending and putting in a bunch of crease shades and a bunch of outer V shades. I just feel like it's unnecessary. So we're gonna find that out today. So one side is gonna be the extra side where we're gonna do all the extra layering, and then the other side is gonna be the basic side where we're gonna do a bare minimum of like 3 or 4 eyeshadows. And the reason I choose 3 or 4 is just because I feel like that encompasses light to dark, you know, like, and I'm not talking about going from a light brown to like a dark brown. Obviously that's going to make a difference. Obviously a dark brown is going to give you a lot of dimension and going to look different than a light brown. I'm talking about, I'm going to pull up the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I'm still testing this out. I feel like this is a good palette to pull from because it has a ton of different crease shades. So I'm talking about like going from here to here. Can you guys see that? Like just a slight jump, or like from here to here. So I'm not gonna do like a brown eye on one side and a purple eye on the other. I'm gonna do, you know, the same tones, the same kind of shade range on both sides. So I think I'm gonna call this the extra side and this the basic side. And also I'm not gonna include a brow bone highlight or an inner corner highlight in the amount of shades that I'm using on the basic side, because I feel like that's a pretty neutral ground. I feel like you pretty much do that with every look, whether it's basic or not, and I don't really feel like doing those things add that much time or that much effort, so I'm not going to include those. So to start out on the extra side, I'm going to go in with this one right here, which is a light tan crease shade. We're going to put this as high as we can go in the crease as our transition without touching the brow bone highlight right there. We're going to leave that clear of color. And then I'm also going to kind of swirl this and kind of circle it into the outer V as well, but keeping the eyelid clean. Okay, so we're not going to put that on this side. We're going to jump in just a second. So then we're going to go in with this slightly darker shade than this one right here. As you can see, there's very, very little difference, and put that in the crease as well, but keeping it a little bit lower. I'm basically making fun of myself right now because I am one that's been doing this, because this is what I've been taught. Like if you're a self-taught makeup artist or a makeup enthusiast and you've learned from YouTube, this is what you've learned. So we're gonna learn if it's actual BS or not. We're slowly going in like ascending order from lightest to darkest in the crease. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here now. So that's the first one we used, second and third. There's very little difference. So again, I'm gonna put that right in the crease on top of the other one, and that's what we're trying to figure out. Like we're just layering on top of each other. Is it really doing anything? Is it really giving a prettier effect? So I'm gonna jump into the basic side now with that shade that we just now used, which is the third shade. So right there, this is kind of gonna be like our crease transition shade. So I'm gonna put this in the high crease, and I've tapped off the excess, and again, swirling it into the outer V a little bit, but leaving the eyelid blank. We're doing the same style. And obviously we're gonna clean this up with a brow bone highlight and stuff. It's gonna be a little bit sloppy right now, but it always starts out sloppy for me. So here is what one shade looks like. Here is what 2 shades look like. Okay, so now going back to the extra side, let's go in with this one right here, this like mustardy brown. And again, putting this in the outer V. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into one that's slightly darker than the one we just now used. I'm gonna go in with this one right here, which is like a medium rosy brown. Again, I'm putting this in the outer V and dragging it in the lower socket, almost on the eyelid. Okay, we're now putting this all over the eyelid. It just fell on the eyelid, so we're gonna go ahead and put it there, and that for sure will get covered up. That mustardy brown that we put on, you can barely see that. So just for comparison, I'm gonna go ahead and put that shade on this side as well, and put it in the exact same placement, because I wanna see how close we are, like how similar these sides are up to this point, because I feel like that shade just covered up a bunch of the work we just now did. Okay, so here's what we got so far. Please ignore the fallout, but they don't look that different. The only thing is, I feel like where the first light transition shade was up here, like it was a little bit closer to the brow bone. I feel like at this point, it looks a little bit harsh right there, but I have a trick that will probably clean that up. So now we're gonna go probably one shade up from that one we just now used, that rosy brown. I'm gonna use this one right here, which is just another, it's kind of a rosy brown, but it's a little bit deeper. It's like a medium tone brown. And on the extra side, I'm gonna put that in the outer V. Okay, this shade isn't really showing up at all. Is that just me or is that the palette? So now we're gonna start wrapping it up. I'm gonna start getting a little bit deeper. I'm gonna go into this burgundy red shade right here. Now on me, this kind of turns brown. It's not as red as it is in the pan. And I've seen other people get it to work and get it to be that vibrant, but on me, it's just not as pretty, but I'm still gonna use it. I'm gonna focus this one more in like the immediate socket right there in the outer portion of the eye. See, look, it just turns brown. Like, that's not red. Come on, Jacqueline. So in order to have that same tone, I'm gonna do this one on the other side as well. Same place, outer V, outer socket. As far as the outer V and the crease work, it looks pretty similar. This side looks a tad bit darker, but I just wonder if that's just because I packed it on a little bit heavier. Let's try to pack on a little bit more over here. I find that actually tapping it and stippling it on kind of keeps the vibrancy and like that red tone a little bit better. So just built it up a little bit more on this side. Looks pretty dang similar. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is like a plummy brown. This is also matte. All the shades I've been using are matte, just so you know. I'm gonna kind of start at the lash line and just kind of bring this up in the outer V a little bit. Again, covering up everything that we just did in the outer V. But this is what I would normally do. So there's what that side looks like. Looks a little bit deeper, just a little bit. So let's see, how many shades have I used? So I've used 3 shades so far. I've used a crease, I've used that rosy brown, and I've used the red. So I've used 3 shades so far. So I'm gonna call it quits on this side. And then we're gonna go in with an eyelid shade, and that will be our 4 for our basic side. So for the eyelid shade on both sides, I'm gonna go in with this silvery pinky taupe right here. I'm gonna put that all over the eyelid from the inner corner to about the center of the lid on both sides. So for my eyes, the way I like to apply a shimmery eyelid shade is I like to apply it a little bit higher and almost bring it up to the crease. So I have slightly hooded eyes, but I find that when I keep it below the crease, it makes my eyes look smaller and it looks like I have less eyelid space to work with, and it just really narrows my eyes. I do want to point that out because when I'm going to be putting that up there, where I'm putting it a little bit higher, it's also going to cover up some of that crease work. So there's that. Now what we tend to do in the YouTube beauty world is go in with a lighter shade and pop that right in the center to make the eyes sparkle a bit more. So on the extra side, I'm gonna go in with this shimmery light pink right here and put this just on the immediate center. So there's what we've got so far. Okay, so I feel like if I go any further, it's gonna be pushing it and going above and beyond what I normally do, and that's cheating. So now moving up to the brow bone highlight, and like I said, I think this can fix the crease issue over here, because like I said, it just looks a bit softer up here where I've got a lighter transition shade closer to the brow bone. I'm gonna take a matte ivory shade. This is what I always do, by the way. So I'm gonna take this and put that on the brow bone, and once I get the placement and get the brightness that I want, I'm using an angled brush, by the way, so I'm using it horizontal right now, but I'm going to turn it vertical to where the highest peak of it is on the bottom. So what this is going to do is lighten that very top portion of the crease shade to where it's going to make it look like a lighter transition shade. So, if you go a little bit too ham with your light transition shade in the beginning and it's a little bit too dark, a little bit too harsh, this will really blend those together and just kind of diffuse it and make it look a lot softer. So I'm gonna go in with the first crease brush that I use for both sides with no extra product, and I'm just gonna blend the top of the crease with the lower brow bone just to make sure it's not too harsh anywhere, and then do that on the other side as well. So the only difference that I see as of now is that where I added that darker purple in the outer V, it did just a little bit more. Okay, do I need to do that to make it even? Because obviously going from a cranberry red to dark purple is gonna make it have more depth. Yeah, I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my face and give you guys a better representation of what these look like with a full face of makeup, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm back with the rest of my face makeup on. So again, here is the extra side, here is the basic side. So can you tell a difference? If so, which side do you think is better? Extra, basic, extra, basic. All I did was put on some eyeliner and mascara, and I used that same matte rosy brown on the lower lash line on both sides. That's all I did. Not to say that this side looks bad, I just feel like this side looks a little bit more put together. As far as all the crease shades and stuff, I cannot tell a difference, guys. I cannot see any of that dimension. It literally looks like I put the exact same shades on both sides. Okay, so I counted 9 shades. Is it 8 or 9? I don't know if I use the one that I'm counting. So either 8 or 9 shadows on this side versus 4 on this side. And even if this side does look better, okay? 4, 9. This would have taken me like 10 minutes versus like 25 or 30 on this side just to add those extra, like double the amount of eyeshadows and to get such a similar look. Like, it may give a little bit more of definition, a little bit more dimension, but in the long run, is it really gonna make a difference? Probably not. When your eyes are open, which most of the time our eyes are open, it's just not gonna be a big enough difference, in my opinion, just from my observation with this eye look. It may be completely different with different tones or different shades or, you know, different shadows or whatever. And I am gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep testing this out. My eye just looks more open for some reason and less hooded. You would think that putting that darker plum on the outer V over here would kind of push the socket back. I find that with my eyelids and my eye shape, and like I said, I have slightly hooded eyes, I find that the fewer eyeshadows I use, the bigger my eyes look and the more eyelid space it looks like I have. Do you guys not see it? Like, this side looks like my eye is smaller and more narrow. Is it just me? Is it just me? Are my eyes crooked? I really don't know. Okay, so here's what it looks like up close. Again, extra side, basic side. So you can see a little bit more definition in the outer V where that dark plum is. But other than that, I mean, and honestly, I could have easily added the dark plum in here, and that still would have been 5 eyeshadows versus like 8 or 9 on this side. So even if I had done that, just imagine that dark plum in there. So this is really hard for me to admit because this is what I've done since day one. Sometimes I take it a step further and I do, you know, oh, let's do 4 crease shades and 4 outer V shades. Sometimes it's like a recovery kind of thing, like, okay, that doesn't look good, so let's put something else on top. It's not necessarily for dimension. Sometimes I don't know when to stop and I'm trying to fix something that didn't look good. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it interesting. And if you want to see more like it, again, please let me know in the comments below. And I'm trying to cut out my long outros. I just want to see what it sounds like just to naturally just let it flow. Like, whatever comes out, comes out. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and also hit the notification bell because apparently subscribing isn't enough anymore. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Okay, we're gonna bring in an unbiased judge to tell us if they can see a difference.
So I'm looking at the difference in the eyes.
So tell me, just straight off the bat, there may not be a difference. I'm not gonna tell you what the difference is.
Okay.
So can you tell a difference at all?
That darker shade that you have, I don't know what color to call that. It's almost like a maroon color.
Which eye?
Well, I'm just saying like on both eyes. The one on the left.
This side?
You're right. It looks like it's a little darker.
Okay.
Just barely.
What about anything else? Eyelid shade, crease shades, anything?
Can't tell the difference between the eyelid shades. The one on the left looks darker than the one on, well, yeah. On the other side, it's more of like a purplish color. At least that's how it looks to me. But I don't know if that's the same product or not. But the like,
oh, we're still going.
We're
still going.
Hey, you wanted a professional opinion.
I do, okay.
Alright. No, I can't see any other difference.
Does one eye look better than the other? Does one eye look bigger, or does one eye look smaller, or do they look the same?
Well, they're both big bug eyes. I can't see any difference. They look exactly the same.
I'll go ahead and cut it off.
If only I had stayed right here, you could have used all of that because you didn't stutter or anything.
I know. Well, maybe that's why people make videos with their husbands in the room, or like their friends and stuff in the room. I wish I could talk like this. I don't talk like this when I'm by myself. It's so much more relaxed and like mumbly and slurry, like normal. This is how I actually talk. I slur my words so bad.
Your grammar is not very great either. This is how I talk. This is how I speak, I'm pretty sure.
No, there's no difference in talk and speak. There's no proper way. Talk or speak is the same thing.
I like the way I speak, guys.
No, there's no proper way. It's not talk or speak. It's not like have or has. It's not like they're words. They're just different. They're synonyms. Purple and violet. Which one's the better one to say?
Okay.
Okay, bye.